Imagine walking into a room you've never visited before, yet every detail feels oddly familiar. You pause, trying to recall if it's from a dream, a past life, or a memory that somehow slipped through the cracks of time. This eerie sensation is known as déjà vu, and it's one of the most intriguing psychological mysteries experienced by millions around the world. Despite its widespread occurrence, science still grapples with a concrete explanation for why our minds play this peculiar trick. But déjà vu is just the beginning. Our brains are full of strange glitches, illusions, and cognitive phenomena that boggle even the most rational minds. Our minds, as powerful and complex as they are not perfect machines. In fact, they're prone to errors, shortcuts, and peculiar patterns that manifest in ways we're only beginning to understand. From false memories to time distortions, from the feeling of being watched to thinking you hear your name in white noise, the brain is a master illusionist. These phenomena can be unsettling, enlightening, or downright confusing, but they all point to one truth. Our perception of reality is far from objective. It's filtered through a messy web of neurons, psychology, and experience. In this video, we're diving deep into the science of déjà vu and other strange mental phenomena. We'll explore the theories, the neurological underpinnings, and the real-world implications of these odd experiences. Whether you've felt like you're reliving a moment, heard a voice that wasn't there, or seen something in the corner of your eye vanish when you looked, it's time to uncover the science behind the bizarre tricks your brain can play on you. 1. What is déjà vu really? Déjà vu, a French term meaning already seen, is one of the most universally recognized and unsettling mental experiences. It's the strange sensation that the current moment is being relived, that it has already happened in the exact same way, even though logic and memory insist otherwise. Most people experience déjà vu at least once in their lives, often during adolescence or young adulthood. The feeling is intense, fleeting, and almost impossible to replicate on command. Scientists have spent decades trying to decode its mystery, yet the phenomenon continues to challenge our understanding of memory and perception. One of the most compelling theories suggests that déjà vu occurs due to a glitch in memory processing. When the brain mistakenly interprets a new experience as a memory, it creates a false sense of familiarity. This could happen when sensory input briefly bypasses the short-term memory system and directly stimulates the long-term memory areas of the brain, especially the medial temporal lobe. In essence, the brain mistakenly files the present moment as a past memory, creating the uncanny feeling that we've lived it before. It's not time travel or reincarnation, it's a split-second error in cognitive processing. There's also a fascinating link between déjà vu and the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. In some studies, researchers found that electrical stimulation of this region in patients with epilepsy could trigger intense feelings of déjà vu. This discovery led to a wider exploration of whether déjà vu might be a miniature seizure, a harmless neural misfire in the memory circuits. Although this idea is still being explored, it opens the door to understanding how small electrical disturbances might explain not just déjà vu, but many other strange cognitive glitches. Perhaps most intriguingly, déjà vu might be a sign of a healthy brain. Some psychologists suggest that people with strong memory systems are more likely to detect mismatches between actual events and mental templates. In other words, déjà vu may arise when the brain recognizes that something feels familiar, but it can't pinpoint why, triggering a flag that says, "This is out of sync." 2. Jamais vu. The opposite of familiar. If déjà vu is the feeling that something new is strangely familiar, jamais vu is its eerie inverse. When something familiar suddenly feels alien and unknown. Imagine reading a word you've used all your life, like door or apple, only to find it looks and sounds completely foreign. You might repeat it over and over, trying to ground it in memory, but instead it drifts further from recognition. This unsettling detachment from the ordinary is called jamais vu, which translates from French as never seen. While it's less commonly discussed than déjà vu, it can be just as disorienting and puzzling. Jamais vu often occurs in brief flashes, particularly when a word or phrase is repeated so many times that it temporarily loses meaning, a phenomenon known as semantic satiation. But in more extreme cases, it can manifest in people experiencing dissociative episodes, migraines, or even certain types of seizures. The brain's recognition systems essentially fail to connect the dots between memory and present reality, creating a momentary void where familiarity should reside. The result feels like slipping out of sync with the world, as if reality has quietly unraveled behind your back. Neurologically, déjà vu is thought to involve disruptions in the brain's language and memory networks. Specifically, it may stem from a brief desynchronization in the temporal lobe, the region responsible for processing sensory input and forming long-term memories. When this neural circuit falters, the brain might fail to properly categorize familiar stimuli, leaving you in a state of perceptual confusion. Unlike déjà vu, which often feels emotionally intense or even mystical, jamais vu tends to evoke discomfort, frustration, and even panic. Researchers have observed that jamais vu can also appear as a symptom of psychological stress, sleep deprivation, or intense cognitive overload. Students cramming for exams, for instance, might suddenly find a familiar formula or concept seems inexplicably strange. In such contexts, the brain is under so much pressure that it momentarily loses its grip on well-established knowledge. These moments reveal just how fragile and dynamic our mental frameworks are, how easily they can be disrupted by fatigue, anxiety, or overload. In rare and more clinical forms, jamais vu has been linked to depersonalization and derealization disorders, conditions where individuals feel detached from their sense of self or surroundings. In these cases, it's not just a fleeting mental hiccup, but a recurring and distressing symptom of a deeper psychological imbalance. 3. False memories. When your brain makes up the past. False memories challenge our belief that memory works like a recording device. In truth, memory is reconstructive, prone to distortion, and easily influenced. A false memory is when you remember something that didn't happen, or recall it differently from how it occurred. Surprisingly, these fabricated memories can feel just as real and vivid as actual ones, which makes them particularly deceptive and dangerous in contexts like eyewitness testimony. The brain rewrites memories each time we recall them, a process called reconsolidation. This means that every memory is subject to alteration. External suggestions or internal assumptions can blend with real memories, altering or even replacing them. Over time, what we believe to be accurate can become a mixture of truth and fiction, shaped by emotion, bias, or repeated storytelling. Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus conducted pioneering research proving how easily false memories can be implanted. In one study, participants were told they had been lost in a shopping mall as a child, a fabricated event, and many remembered it vividly. These findings underline how memory is vulnerable to suggestion, even when we feel certain of its authenticity. False memories are a product of the brain's creativity and its need for coherent narrative. Rather than viewing them as failures, we can see them as byproducts of a system that prioritizes meaning over detail. However, this flexibility has real-world implications, especially in therapy, law, and relationships where the accuracy of memory matters. 4. The Mandela Effect. Collective memory glitches. The Mandela Effect refers to a situation where a large group of people remembers something differently from how it actually happened. Named after the false memory that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 1980s, this phenomenon has sparked theories ranging from alternate universes to simple memory errors. Examples include misremembering brand names, famous quotes, or historical events. It's a powerful reminder that our collective memories are not always reliable. One explanation lies in confabulation, the brain's way of filling in gaps in memory with fabrications that make sense. When this happens on a large scale, especially with pop culture references or media exposure, the error becomes widespread. Social reinforcement, such as viral posts or group discussions, further solidifies these shared inaccuracies. Researchers believe the Mandela Effect demonstrates how memory is influenced by suggestion and social cues. The more often people repeat a version of a story, the more real it feels, even when it's false. This effect highlights the interplay between individual perception and collective belief, showing how easily truth can be reshaped in our minds. Though it might seem like a novelty, the Mandela Effect has real-world implications. It underscores the importance of critical thinking, especially in the digital age where misinformation can spread rapidly and with high emotional impact. 5. The feeling of being watched. A hardwired instinct? Most people have experienced the uncanny sensation of being watched, even when no one is visible. This instinct likely evolved as a survival mechanism, alerting us to potential threats. Our brains are wired to detect subtle cues, shifts in light, shadows, or posture that may signal another presence nearby, often without our conscious awareness. From a neurological standpoint, the superior temporal sulcus and amygdala play a role in detecting gaze and emotional significance. These brain regions help us monitor social environments and react quickly to perceived attention or danger, even in ambiguous circumstances. Psychologically, the fear of being watched can be intensified by anxiety or stress. In high alert states, the brain becomes hypersensitive to potential threats, interpreting harmless stimuli as signs of surveillance. This is why people often feel watched in dark alleys or unfamiliar places, where their vigilance is heightened. Interestingly, this sensation may also be shaped by modern life. With constant digital surveillance, security cameras, and social scrutiny on platforms like social media, our sensitivity to being observed is reinforced, even when we're physically alone. 6. Out-of-body experiences. Floating above yourself, out-of-body experiences, OBEs, involve the perception of observing oneself from outside the body. These experiences often occur during trauma, near-death situations, or in altered states of consciousness. While some interpret them spiritually, science seeks explanations grounded in neurobiology and sensory integration. Research shows that OBEs are linked to disruptions in the temporoparietal junction, a brain area responsible for integrating visual, proprioceptive, and spatial information. When this system fails, the brain may construct a perspective outside the body, leading to the sensation of floating or watching oneself. Virtual reality experiments have replicated OBEs by manipulating visual feedback and tactile stimuli. Participants can be tricked into perceiving their consciousness in another location, revealing how easily the brain's self-image can be distorted. These experiences challenge our understanding of self and consciousness. While they may not confirm metaphysical claims, OBEs do highlight the brain's complex process of constructing identity and physical presence. 7. Phantom vibration syndrome. When your phone isn't vibrating. Phantom vibration syndrome occurs when you feel your phone vibrate in your pocket, even though it didn't. This phenomenon is surprisingly common, affecting people who regularly carry mobile devices. It's an example of how the brain adapts to technology, becoming hypersensitive to expected stimuli and misinterpreting normal sensations like muscle twitches or clothing movement. Neuroscientists believe this happens due to neuroplasticity. The more your brain anticipates an event, like a phone notification, the more likely it is to misfire. This is similar to a cognitive reflex where anticipation overrides reality. In high-stress environments, or during moments of hyperfocus, these misfires become more frequent. Psychologically, this experience reveals the anxiety many people associate with staying connected. In a culture that prizes instant response, even the idea of a missed call can create nervous tension. That tension may manifest physically, even without real stimuli, as the body and brain remain on high alert. The widespread nature of phantom vibrations shows how modern tools reshape human perception. It blurs the boundary between mental expectation and physical sensation, turning imagined signals into real sensations. 8. Time slows down. The brain in survival mode. Many people who've been in accidents or life-threatening situations describe the sensation that time slowed down. In reality, time itself doesn't change, but perception does. During high-stress events, the brain takes in more sensory information, which makes the event feel longer in hindsight. This is largely attributed to the amygdala, which becomes hyperactive under stress. It boosts memory encoding and attention, allowing the brain to process details in greater volume. Later, these detailed memories create the illusion that the moment lasted much longer than it did. Experiments involving rapid experiences like skydiving or free-falling confirm that while people feel time stretch, they don't actually perceive more in real time. The effect is memory-based. It's not about what you saw, but how much your brain recorded. From an evolutionary perspective, this mechanism likely helped our ancestors survive. When danger looms, every detail matters, and our brains respond by stretching the moment, at least in memory. 9. Earworms, when songs get stuck in your head. An earworm is a song or tune that gets stuck in your mind and loops uncontrollably. It's usually a catchy, repetitive melody with a strong rhythm and predictable structure. These mental loops can be enjoyable or maddening and often pop up during moments of idleness or routine. Neurologically, earworms involve the brain's auditory cortex and working memory systems. When a song is partially remembered, the brain tries to complete the loop, repeating the segment over and over. This effort to resolve the pattern paradoxically reinforces it. People prone to earworms tend to have higher musical sensitivity or lower tolerance for unresolved stimuli. Emotional connections to a song can also strengthen the loop, embedding it deeper in the brain's reward pathways. Earworms show how the brain seeks completion and order. When something feels unfinished, like an incomplete lyric or unresolved melody, your mind tries to fill in the blanks, whether you want it to or not. 10. Closing the loop. Strange phenomena, real insights. What all these phenomena have in common is that they highlight the brain's constant effort to interpret, organize, and respond to reality. Sometimes that means bending perception, misfiring memory, or projecting feelings onto neutral stimuli. These are not flaws. They're features of a mind that evolved to adapt quickly, even if it means accepting occasional illusions. Studying mental quirks like déjà vu or earworms helps us understand not just the brain's complexity, but its creativity. Each phenomenon offers clues to how memory, perception, and identity are formed and maintained. In learning how these effects happen, we learn more about how we construct our experience of being alive. It's also a reminder that our reality is a filtered version of the world, shaped by past experiences, expectations, and the limits of our biology. What we see, hear, and feel isn't always objective. It's a best guess interpretation, one crafted by a brain doing its best with the information it has. So the next time your brain plays tricks on you, whether it's déjà vu, a phantom buzz, or a looping tune, remember, it's not broken. It's working as designed. And understanding those glitches might be the key to unlocking the most powerful system we know, the human mind.